Hi guys, welcome to Chaos Maker's Hobby House. It's gorgeous out. It feels like spring. I am so excited. It is warm. I mean, granted, the pollen is something else right now, so I'm definitely feeling that a little bit. They've also been doing some prescribed burns in the area, so we have this lovely, like, smoky pollen mixed haze that's been hanging around, making the days a little bit rough. You can probably hear a little scratchiness in my throat. But with this absolutely beautiful weather we've been having, I've noticed the garden is starting to wake up. The fruit trees are starting to bloom, and well, I want to show you. I love this time of year. It's just so full of potential. You can see things that that might be happening that haven't happened yet, like a new fruit tree, maybe producing fruit for the first time. And well, what can I say? I'm solar powered. The sun's not out. I don't work. So these warm, sunny days have just been so good for my soul. So I guess let's just kind of start out with the main garden area. It's all prepped and ready for spring. I weeded and topped everything off the compost and put some mulch on there. I have a few things left over from winter growing. This is, well, hopefully one day going to be Brussels sprouts. I can never get the little sprouts to actually form on the stem, but I'm hoping I planted it early enough, since I technically planted it last fall, that I might get something before it gets too hot out. I've been harvesting cauliflower non-stop. Still have some more. So that's been very nice to have some sort of fresh veggies over the winter. And I have multiple beds of carrots as well. But they're still doing pretty good. Still plenty in there. Now in my area, it's kind of hard to do spring crops. We have a very short spring. It goes from winter weather to a sauna in about a week. But I've learned that if I plant those cooler weather crops in fall, I can grow them over winter and get a spring harvest. So that's kind of what I do with my carrots and my brassicas, my cauliflower, lettuces, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, stuff like that. And it's working out pretty well so far, but unfortunately it means I really can only get one round of those per year. I can't do a spring and fall planting because my only option is to really grow them through winter. But still, I love having fresh veggies in the winter. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. And the garlic is getting quite big. That is planted in late fall, early winter. It kind of grows throughout the winter and should be ready in early summer, maybe June, but it's looking pretty good. It focuses on the leaf development first, and then it'll focus on the bulbs. So if I pulled one up right now, there'd be nothing under there. I got my potatoes in maybe a month ago, and they're doing fantastic. Now if we do get a late frost, we'll have to cover them to protect them a little bit, since they are frost sensitive now that they've poked out of the ground. But I keep finding potatoes everywhere. There are volunteer potatoes growing out of my compost. I have pulled so many volunteer potatoes out of various garden beds because apparently at some point I had thrown potato scraps in the compost, and then I spread that compost around my garden and they hadn't completely broken down yet. And yeah, they just started sprouting. So once you plant potatoes, you will always have potatoes, and apparently once you throw a potato in compost, you will always have potatoes. Anyway, moving on to the things that are waking up for spring. I guess we'll check out the first fruit tree, since we are in the backyard and that's where this is located. But my loquat has fruit all over it that's starting to ripen. It's about a month behind, but it seems like a lot of everything, a lot of what's growing is about a month behind. And I think it's actually on time. I'm just so used to everything coming a month early because we had such mild winters for the last few years, that this time last year I was picking and eating loquats and they haven't even started to really ripen yet. So I think we're just on time, and I've been spoiled by mild years before this. But my tree is absolutely loaded down They're tiny. They don't get very big. They'll probably double in size by the time they ripen. Well, they'll turn a beautiful golden yellow. They have a seed inside that's kind of large, or 2 seeds in it that's kind of large, but they are very, very sweet. I can't really describe the flavor. They are technically a citrus, but they remind me more of a plum. They call it Japanese plum, so it's like a citrus and a plum had a baby, but it doesn't have the segments in it like a citrus. It's more textured like a plum. I don't know, I'll show you when I start picking them. But they've still got some time, probably like another month before I start harvesting anything off this. And then onto the front yard where I have the majority of my fruit trees and bushes going. Hi, Nola. Hi. Hi, crazy girl. But those have started waking up, so I want to let you check them out. Well, let's just quickly touch base on the plant babies getting some sun. That's this year's future garden right there. That's the whole garden. Anyway, on to strawberries. They've been blooming for a while now, and they are finally starting to set fruit. I do have a bunch of strawberries on order because something got this last year, and over half of the strawberries they were green and flowering and fruiting, and then they got wilty one day. The wilting lasted a couple days, and then they were just brown and crispy. Something just took out half of my strawberries, but the survivors, they seem to be doing just fine. And I remember last year I was already picking strawberries, a month ago, so again, about a month behind, but honestly it's probably right on time. In case you're curious, that is what a bolted cauliflower looks like. I'm letting it flower and go to seed so I can collect the seeds and save it. That was grown over winter too. And it looks like the Anne's Golden raspberries are starting to wake up. A little bit of new growth all through here. Those will shoot up real quick. And just to the side of that, got some blueberries. And they're all flowering. As long as we don't get a hard freeze, should expect some blueberries from this plant this year. Maybe a little bit more than last year. But the other one I have over here, I can't remember the variety. I want to say this one, the pink lemonade? It might have been. But I'm not seeing any flowers on it. And it is severely, severely stunted. So, that's the whole plant. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this yet. Maybe give it another season. Give it some pampering this year and see if it bounces back. But yeah, they were the same size when I planted them, and you can see the difference now. I love the color on this. It's a Loropetalum or Chinese fringe bush every year. You get this beautiful, beautiful flush of pink flowers. It's so pretty. And then talk about this thing. I cut it back to nothing. I cut it back to nothing. I cut all the foliage back because it had died back. And it's grown that much in just a few short days of warmth. It is absolutely crazy. I think it's a verbenum? Purple? I'll have to look it up and put it on the screen. It's all the lovely flowers starting to bloom. So you can see why the allergens are quite bad right now. It's looking quite nice here. And after I actually redid this entire front garden bed and moved things around, so it's still filling in. And I have a bunch of seeds that I started for flowers that'll fill in some of the empty spaces. That's looking pretty good. Dwarf pomegranate has fully leafed out since it lost all its leaves in the winter. No flowers yet, but it's looking really nice. Then the Dorman red raspberries Sorry about the humming. That is my neighbor's HVAC unit. That's what happens when you live in the South. AC is on in March. But the dormant red raspberries have started waking back up as well. A persimmon tree that I'm giving to a friend has pretty well leafed out. For some reason, this one always leaves out so much earlier than the other one I have. Same variety. I think it's a different rootstock though. Oh, he might actually have flowers this year. That would be the first. Yeah, yup. That is a future flower right there. That'll be the first year that this tree has fruited. Oh, lucky him! He's actually picking it up tomorrow, so he'll get to see fruits off of this. Oh, that's so cool. And one thing I'm super excited about, I planted this Owari Satsuma mandarin last year, and would you look at that? Those are all flower buds. So around, I believe it's December. Oh wow, look at them all. Around December, I should be getting my very first homegrown mandarins. The Owari Satsuma mandarin tree is the cold hardiest of pretty much all the mandarins that I have found. Can survive down to 20 degrees. I did have to protect it a little bit this winter because we did get some weather down into the high teens for a brief period, but it seems completely unfazed, never lost a single leaf, and it is looking absolutely gorgeous. And this is my persimmon tree. Let's put on some size. Just now starting to leaf out. You can see it's definitely behind the other one, but that was the same last year. This one got leaves after the one that was potted. It'll be flush soon, and then we'll be able to see if any of these little buds are gonna be flowers. I did get fruit last year. I got 4. Not a whole lot, but it was the first year fruiting, so I'm curious to see how much it'll give me this year. And I guess here's where I will leave you with a glimpse of the future garden that in just a couple short weeks will all be in the ground. So thanks for taking a walk with me on this absolutely gorgeous day. I am so excited to see things waking up. Just as warm as my little garden heart. Until next time, bye.